Greetings, greetings, everyone. Greetings to everyone that will be staying tuned in to this broadcast. Much love, much respect to you all. I give thanks to everyone and the well wishes um, and the sending of good energy towards my direction. Uh, Much love, everyone. I'm doing a little better. I was out in the backyard today picking some mullein leaves and watching the deers run around the backyard. Around here, we have, I think it's called white-tailed deer. So all in all is it's getting there, and I give thanks to the universal creator, you know, and honors also to the ancestors. Um, with that being said, let us jump right into this. But I hope all is well with you guys as well, and to the brothers and sisters going through or went through the storm that hit Florida. My prayers, my best wishes go out to you and your family. And may you recoup back all that was damaged in the storm. If any brothers and sisters did not make it through the storm, we ask the Most High, the Universal Creator, to guide them and protect them as they transition to the next stage of life. For it is a homecoming that they are going to. Give thanks. All right. In the last video or the last audio, we were breaking down um, what a bond is. This one is from the U.S. Department of Labor. Bonding requirements goes like this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Truthfully, I can't read the whole thing. I still have to reserve my energy. But bonding requirements. Section 502A of the Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act of 1959, as amended, LMRDA, those are the abbreviations, and provisions of Section 7120 of the Civil Service Reform Act of 1978. Now, folks, make sure that you are taking notes, okay? Because I will post the link later in the chat, in the comment section, and the description box. But sometimes YouTube, don't allow it. My last video, the comments were blocked, and I had to go back and unblock them. Um, so make sure you're taking notes, okay? We're gonna start back from the top again. And maybe it will be in the transcript. Section 502A of the Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act of 1959, as amended, LMRDA, that's the abbreviation, and provisions of Section 7120 of the Civil Service Reform Act of 1978, that CSRA, established bonding requirements for certain officers and employees of labor organizations. Every union covered by the LMRDA or the CSRA is subject to the bonding requirements, except for unions whose property and annual receipts do not exceed 5,000 in value. The required bonds are a type of insurance agreement. They are insurance. They're not a type. Well, yes, they are. The required bonds are a type of insurance agreement which guarantees reimbursement to the union for any financial losses caused by fraudulent or dishonest acts by officers or employees, such as theft, embezzlement, forgery. The bonding are not based on the idea that particular individuals or organizations are inherently dishonest. Well, we wouldn't like to think that, you know, most people are just naturally born dishonest. But when you are working for a system that pays by commission, majority of those folks in that system are going to be dishonest. When you are working for a contradictory system, one that you take an oath to uphold and defend the very laws that are constitutional, but then the requirements within the job goes against everything that the oath you took stood for. Now, the oath you took is the actual law which you are supposed to be enforcing and protecting. The job that you are working is the actual job that goes against the very oath you took, which is the law you are supposed to be protecting. That job then create what is called policies, which are corporate policies for their employees or those who are under the jurisdiction of the corporation, known and unknowingly. When those who are unknowingly under the jurisdiction of the corporation runs into one of you who are the officer of their corporation, and you enforce the policies of the corporation that contradicts and goes against the laws that you took an oath to uphold, that is forgery, that is fraud, that is um, entrapment, that and it's the reason why it's entrapment, because when you stop a person on the road and you force them to contract with you, not only is that entrapment, that is kidnapping when you hold someone against their will when they have not broken the very laws that you took an oath to uphold and protect. Those are damages onto such people or such persons, natural persons, or those natural persons and their persons, which would be their property, their automobile, their home, their clothing that they have on their body itself, right? So now, when these things occur, you can claim a bond. You can claim the bond that these officers or these organizations have. Do you understand? These are the secrets. All officers know this. We must stop doing YouTube videos and podcasts saying that they do not know this information. Now that you know that they have EIN numbers and they have bond numbers, it's a given that they know this information. And the reason why it is difficult for you to receive their bond information is because that they're corrupt. The clerks of court are officers. The county clerk is an officer. Your governor is an officer. Your mayor is an officer. Your congressman, your senator, your policeman, which is actually pronounced policy man. You understand? It's like someone asked the question, why do you spell W with a D? If the pronunciation of D is duh, you know, make it make sense. Throughout history, they change how we pronounce letters. You understand? They had to distort our understanding of reality. That means the way you talk, how you pronounce words, letters, the very sound you hear, the very frequency that vibrates around you, the very vibrational frequency that you give off yourself. Understand? When you go into online or an etymology dictionary, the pronunciation of what you're saying is police is originally spelled with NY, okay? And the CIE and the CY is still pronounced C. It's still policy, okay? So they are policy officers. And when you start looking into what a policy officer is, you start understanding that they are subsidiaries of the IRS. They are tax agents, okay, which then are supposed to go out and give unlawful taxes every day in the forms of what is called tickets. This is why they need your permission before they could ticket you. But you don't know this. You don't know this. When they ask for ID, that's you giving permission. When they ask for you to sign, that's you giving your permission. When you sit there and you're going back and forth with them, thinking that you're making sense in what you're saying, that's you giving your permission. You've now entered into an engagement with them. You're now contracting with them by opening your mouth and continuing to talk to them. But they put contingencies in place for you. You can plead the fifth. You have the right to remain silent. The law states that you don't have to show ID if it's not a non-criminal offense. Meaning, and don't let them use their policies on you and say, well, these policies say, well, this is a criminal offense. No. Originally, a non-criminal offense means that if you have harmed someone, destroyed someone's property, you understand? Caused bodily harm or injury to a person, if there was some form of act of violence, then you're supposed to give up that ID once they could prove that it is you. That's why when they come to you, what is your reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime that I have committed? They'll probably say, well, someone called us. Okay. They're supposed to show up when someone called. Now, who called? They're supposed to let you know on the spot who called the person's name and take you to your accuser right there on the spot. If they do not do that, they went against the very oath that they took to uphold. And every time they break their oath, they're in violation, meaning that you could put a claim against them on their bond. The bond is what protects all officers, whether it be a secretary in a law office, that is still an officer because they are representative of the office. You understand? You too are an officer because that all capital letter name, that estate name, that corporate name, which the government created for you, puts you as an officer in that office, an executive or an executor, an executrix, grantor, settler, these things. Understand the power that you really and truly have. You don't need the Benjamin Crumps in them because what they're doing is the information that I'm sharing, but they're not telling their clients this because they're ripping them off, allegedly. So understand how deep this well runs, and this well will never run dry. because it's sad to say, but you will always have sheeps that will always fall or be submissive to the abuse that is out there for them because they are afraid to execute this information, this form of knowledge. You understand? Can't feel sorry for those when they're getting the information fourth hand, and still choose to bend and bow and kiss the ring of their forbearing masters. Let's keep going. Okay, so where were we? All right, so the required bonds are a type of insurance agreement which guarantees reimbursement to the union for any financial losses caused by fraudulent or dishonest acts by officers or employees, such as theft, embezzlement, or forgery. And every time they give you a ticket, well, you guys get it. The bonding requirements are not based on the idea that particular individuals or organizations are inherently dishonest. Rather, bonding is required because experience has shown that when people are entrusted with the money or property of another, there will be instances when individuals will cause a loss through fraud or dishonesty. Bonding is therefore required to ensure the union against such a loss. Now, that union also is the Fraternal Order of Police, which is the one of the biggest union worldwide, if not the biggest. The law provides that any person who handles union funds or property must be bonded for at least 10% of the funds handled during the union's proceedings fiscal year up to a maximum of 500,000. An individual is considered to be handling union funds if his or her duties or authority provide access to the union funds resulting in a significant risk of loss of funds if that person engages in fraudulent or dishonest acts. Every time you go into a courthouse, the prosecutor or the court took out a bond on you. You don't know that. Some of you don't know that. Some of you know. Well, you have up to 3 years if what they have you in that courthouse for is fraudulent, right? And especially if you're one that's not under their jurisdiction, you have up to 3 years to claim that bond, or else they then place it on the stock market where they make millions off of it. But you still could go back and claim it because it is your signature that you sign, when you sign at the first, when you are arrested and you start signing paperwork at the precinct, then when you're going into the court and you start signing paperwork at the court, those signatures, that name, that autograph that you place on those documents gave them power of attorney and authority to go ahead and open up a bond to be turned into what is called surety or a security instrument to be placed on the stock market. Now, as you heard, even the union rep or the union leader, even the prosecutors, or even down to even the defense lawyers that work for the city or the state, they call them legal. God damn it, I forgot they public defenders or something like that. They're all in. They all share that bond with the prosecutor. So if that prosecutor committed some form of fraud or the court is in fraud, you can claim that bond, and they would have to pay directly out their pockets to also on that bond. This is why even if you're innocent, they don't give a shit. They still send you to prison, even if it's for the rest of your life, because they're not paying 500,000. They're not paying $1 million or $2 million, because these bonds go up to anywhere from 75 to millions of dollars, and they're not doing that. And if you knew this information in abundance, a judge or a supposed judge, magistrate, esquires, who are folks who are knights onto the crown, who you call lawyers. But this entire system is a system that is controlled and ran by the English crown. Do not get this twisted. in what you call these United States. You understand? Now we have that information also to prove, but we're gonna set up something between I and Arawak one day and get deep into that. Okay, so don't get this twisted. So they all would have to pay back in any damages caused by them, and the banner which they fly, which is a fraternal order of police. Okay, and then the city, the incorporate seal of the city, the municipalities, the states that they represent, also has to pay. This is why you have a lot of innocent people in prison, in nonviolent, what they call criminals, offenders in prison. This is why even if the officer is wrong right there on the spot, he still put handcuffs on you and take you down to the precinct, because that's a form of bullying, intimidation, just in case if you get the idea that, all right, I'm gonna come after you in the form of a lawsuit, in the form of a claim, a lien, so on and so. It's to put fear in you. When you go down to the county clerk's office or the courthouses and you ask for the bond and the information of these officers, and they're giving you the runaround from room to room to room, or they call security on you. They have that information, or they tell you, oh, we threw it out. They can never throw that out. Oh, it's only digital now. They have the handwritten paperwork. They can't have the digital without the handwritten. Even people in the islands, if they tell you they only have the digital, they're lying. And if they threw out the original, that is a major act of fraud. That is treason in some countries also. Understand? You can get this information off the Department of Labor website. I will post the link in the comment section. Whew, in the description box. Okay. But no, this is what this is. Okay. Let's continue reading some. Okay, so etc. What's it? For example, a person who received dues, fees, etc. from members is clearly handling union funds and therefore must be bonded. Also, now remember, these are all policy officers or what you call police officers who are supposed to be law enforcement officers. The reason why each and every single one of them are bonded because every time they ticket you, they're collecting funds, they're collecting money. Every time they arrest you, they're collecting funds. You understand? And all of that goes to the Federal Reserve. Now you go do the research and see who actually owns the Federal Reserve, and you see what's going on. Okay, but let's get back here. Uh, any officer or employee who has the authority to sign checks on the union's account is handling union funds and must be bonded, even if he or she has no physical contact with the funds. Individuals who typically must be bonded include union officers, Fraternal Order of Police, that's the biggest union, both elected and non elected. Now, an elected officer is mayor, governor, congressman, councilman, alderman, senator, president. Non elected, your policy. Oh, elected also is your sheriff. Your sheriff is an elected officer. He has to run for an election to become sheriff. And anyone can walk in and run for election to become sheriff. I think you just need a high school diploma or some form of college degree. Okay. You're non elected, or those uniformed officers and detectives out there. They're non elected. The police commissioner, non elected. He was hired by an elected official. Y'all get this now? This is how deep this runs. Okay. Um, Bonded, including union officers, both elected and non-elected, employees such as business agents, trustees, key administrative and professional staff, and clerical personnel. Now, the word agents and trustees. Notice the agent is notice the principal. Notice the principal is notice the agent. Understand what these things are. Because you put your signature on these documents, a ticket, whatever, they're using your estate account that the government created for you in the form of the straw man name, going back to what is called a birth certificate, which is a bond account that is turned into a surety, which is also traded on the stock market, which gains hundreds of millions to billions of dollars. Now, these officers, these elected officials and non elected officials, become trustees of said account because they're supposed to be acting on your accord with your permission. But so this is why every time they pull you over, every time you go down to their office, they have you sign, 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 sign. You're going to buy a house, you got to sign the mortgage papers, the documentations, you sign, 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 sign. House is already paid off for the minute you signed that document because they're going into that bond, that surety account that they already have for you. So when they're ticketing you and then you're using your paycheck to go rush to go pay a ticket because you're like, damn, I gotta go pay that ticket. They already also took it out of that bond account because they have your signature now. So they're also double dipping, which is fraud. Now, because they are trustees, a trustee falls underneath what is called an executor or an executrix. Okay, one is masculine, one is feminine, which is you. They need your permission. You understand? Now, when you start understanding what an EIN number is and how they're using their EIN and why they also have to have EIN numbers and what the bond really and truly is, then you can know how to put them in their place. You are their bosses, which is why the saying is, "You work for me. You're a public servant, are you not? You work for me. I don't work for you." And they know this. This is why they come with such aggression towards you, intimidation towards you. And people say, oh, they need to be retrained. Oh, they're not trained properly. They are trained properly. They are trained to intimidate you, who is the sheep that don't know that you're actually the wolf or can be the wolf. You understand? Or can be the shepherd. You understand? That it is your name, it is your signature that empowers them. It is your name and signature that pays them. You're their boss. You always be their boss until they fulfill this system that they put in of everything digital and lock your ass into permanent slavery. Because some folks rather always every minute they want to cash out and e-pay and all this type of stuff, not knowing that it's good, but it's also bad at the same time. Always keep cash on reserve as well. You understand? It's not every transaction should go through a Cash App or a Zelle. This is how they track what you're buying, what you're paying, if you're gaining wealth. When they find out that you're gaining wealth, they come and start sabotaging you and messing with you. Okay? Anywho, in a stand, man. In a stand. The universe is awakening so many people, so many minds. This energy wave that is hitting, make sure you get your surfboard and you ride that shit. Ride it. We are the people of the Middle Earth Kingdom. We are sitting on the most powerful energy ley lines there is in the world. You understand this? There are many worlds out there. We are in our Middle Earth world. We are the core, the heart, the soul of creation. Wake up. Because if you don't, see that man that was crowned the new English king? This entire system is signed onto that crown, which that crown is holding to the Vatican or the Protestant church. Listen to his oath that he was taken. Wake up. We are getting ready to do part two of the Black Ring Society. We're getting ready to do that. I see that they're trying to they've put a hold on that one. You know, they're not trying to have it be broadcast or get out there to where it is because they know now that I am going to be digging into the whole Jack and Jill Society. And that's if you're not familiar, Jack and Jill is an organization that was started, I think, in the 1920s or 1950s. Um, yeah, it's like a sister fraternity, sorority, you know, of supposed to be they call colored females, but these females believe in the lightening out of the races, or to believe in they are members of the Black Ring Society, where you know you have your Queen of Hearts and your Queen of Spades in these societies, and must understand what these things mean. And those are the females that believe in bringing in uh, children for uh, the paler society and stuff like that, or the brown paper bag effect, as they say. They believe that their children must be as light as a brown paper bag, and the ones who are of a darker hue, they give a real hard time to. Okay, so for folks that will Google and say, "Well, they are dark skin," oh, those people are going through hell. They're not going to tell you because they're reaping also benefits as well. There's only been probably three that I know of that has came out publicly in the past 10 years of what they've gone through and what their children have gone through. And if you pay attention to the sister that comes in Ghost, that acts as Tasha, that was a part of the Cheetah Girls, she broke it down also and gave you a clue of what was going on. You know, even though she supposedly forgave them the other day, but that also the Cheetah Girls thing goes back to the Jack and Jill Society, and you know the cheetah is a sex kitten also as well. So you those are the sisters and brothers of those societies that pimp their kids also in a stand for corporate opportunities and um, stuff like that. All right. With that being said, say peace, love, light to you all. Much love, much respect to you all. And again, give thanks for the best wishes as well. Um, yeah, so look out for part two. And we will be coming back with another audio on bonds. I'm going to try to do this one with Brother American Arawaks when he got a chance. Right now, he was in the storm that hit, so it's a lot that's going on right now for our brother. So yeah, yeah, and I give good energy towards him also as well, and anyone that was in that storm as well. Peace.